Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next edition of Behind the Fate. This is episode 2 of the 11-part series, where I'll be discussing, documenting my 4-year-long story of the Struggles of Life saga, and I'll be giving out secrets and details of each section, whether it be in the Huntrabane character, the Exiled 2018, and the creation of the Fate of the Sins movie. For episode 2, we're going to talk about the summer of 2017, where the Huntrabane character was revived due to a situation that happened in February, which of course I like to talk about a lot because this is something that was a real turning point in my life and at the same time something that really affected me. In February of 2017, my YouTube channel got terminated due to a glitch in the system, and it took me many months before I finally got it back. During the termination, I was suffering from a lot of really bad depression. I was worried I would not get that everything I've worked for so long was all for nothing, and I didn't think that I was ever gonna come back because of this, and so things were looking horrible. I was starting to give in to my inner demons. The endless support my fans gave me was amazing, especially since when I created the Life of Maracle channel, which I continued doing stuff. People were amazed that a channel got terminated, but I just picked myself back up. Showed that I am dedicated to my fans and to the stuff I make, and I ended up getting a lot of respect from not just my fans but more wrestling YouTubers and a lot of other people that reached out to me and said, "Dude, I'm sorry about what happened, but I'm freaking impressed with you that you're just gonna keep going." And I'm like, "Well, yep, I'm gonna keep going." But then I got the idea that I wanted to bring the Huntrabane character back and give it a second chance, because we were thinking the look was ugly. The design was stupid, so that gave me the idea that I would redesign the character. And that what gave me the idea was a hunting mask that I had. So I'm like, I put on the hunting mask and put on the same cloak that I wore before. Put it on, looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, whoa, that looks 10 times better than the face paint. I recorded myself talking about the channel termination. When I edited that, I intentionally darkened the area, darken the contrast to look darkish blue, and then I deepened the voice. I lowered the pitch of Huntrabane's voice, and I was like, wow, now that sounds a lot better. Because in the previous one, it was just me with the face paint in a dark area, talking with my natural voice, and people were like, I can't take that seriously. But when I actually created the Huntrabane character, reinvented it, and added in the lower voice pitch and the hunting mask where you could only see his eyes, people were like, okay, Christian, this is a lot better. I think I'm actually getting interested now. And when I realized more fans were getting interested in the new character's design, I was like, okay, we finally got something. So let's go forward with it. So that's what I did. The fact that I got support even for bringing back the Huntrabane character just made me even more impressed. And I'm like, okay, like maybe I can continue doing the story I wanted to tell. So I reinvented myself, tried to come up with a few other ideas. I knew I was going to WrestleMania in Orlando at the time, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to wait till I get back from that. But even when I was in Orlando, there were times where I was in my hotel room. I should have been asleep because, I had a lot of activities to do every single day. But I was just coming up with brainstorming of new ideas here and there. I came up with this idea that my character would briefly lose his memory. He doesn't know who he is. And people were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? He just uploaded a video. It's called Who Am I? He has no idea who he is, what he's doing. And people were like, what's this about? Like, is he okay? Is Christian okay? And the fact that people were believing that my series was real, like realistic, that these were not, like, they obviously knew that I was playing the Huntrabane character, but this was before the Huntrabane showed up to be part of it. If they believe it's real, then I must have done a pretty damn good job at acting. Then finally Huntrabane showed up to confront me about everything. When I woke up, people saw that I had a new haircut. Because at the time, and for a majority of the second half of 2016 and the first parts of 2017, my hair was growing. It was getting longer. Some people were actually wondering if I was just trying to make myself look like AJ Styles with a soccer mom hairstyle. And I looked at myself, I'm like, that's actually really funny. But I was always going to cut my hair eventually, but I wanted to get these videos filmed first, and then I decided, okay, got this part done. Let's get the haircut. Took care of that, cut the hair off. Just before my YouTube channel got reinstated, I decided to make a video. It's called Thank You, where I thank my fans for everything that they've done for me, no matter what's been going on, especially with the channel termination. And then the fans actually saw in the background the Huntrabane character returned and seemingly pulled my essence into the mirror. And I'll discuss the mirror actually in next week's episode, because there's a little bit I want to discuss about that. But all of a sudden I touched the mirror and I ended up getting possessed by Huntrabane. So my character is no longer himself. He's Huntrabane in control. And shockingly enough, not a lot of people picked up on that. So I made a few videos, one where I read hate comments. And at the very end, I started getting pissed off. I wasn't really pissed off. Obviously, I was in character. And as I said a few lines, I redubbed myself. And people could hear a lower pitched voice speaking along with my actual voice. And when I started acting strange or whatnot, complaining about it, whether it was hot outside, whether I was being alone in the house, where I was not feeling very well, or I was looking like I was threatening to slit my throat or something. And people were like, is Christian okay? Seriously, is this guy on drugs? Like, what the fuck's going on here? But what people did not know was this was all a setup. This was all set up. Me portraying this Huntrabane for 3 weeks. One video I crossed over with my brother, my actual real brother. His first name, his actual name I'm not going to tell you, but he goes by the YouTube name Kazuin. He mostly plays on Roblox, so I did a Roblox video where I was hanging out. I had texted him, and I was like, hey, I got a funny idea for a video. Let me just join you on Roblox. We'll have a fun time, and I'll show you what I got when it's done. So I did just that, and people can tell that while I was doing this, it sounded like I was losing my mind. And initially, what was going to happen was I was going to bring Kazuin to the series, like you were actually going to see him. We were about to get it filmed. I went to his house to have a visit, and then we're going to set it up. And at the last minute, he said he wasn't really feeling comfortable with being on camera, so we scrapped the ideas. I was like, don't worry, it's all good. And afterwards, I did a video called I Am Not Huntrabane, because I actually did this one thing where I tweeted on my Twitter with letters that were completely backwards. And some fans, they had no idea what the hell that was. But if you looked in the mirror, it sent a message. And people are wondering, why is this tweet in backwards letters? And I'll let you know more about that in next week's episode. But a lot of people were convinced that my character was Huntrabane. And I was like, finally, it took them long enough. But you know, it's okay if it took them long enough, because I was going to keep going with it. And so I set this whole thing up where I'm like, I'm not Huntrabane, despite the fact that you can clearly see my mirror reflection moving when my actual self was not moving. And then it seemed like as if Huntrabane was hearing a voice within himself. And that led, of course, to the series of events that we're going to talk about in 2017, like in the summer. Oh, we're obviously talking about the summer. Anyways, folks, this was just an idea I had set up because I wanted to take this moment and say one of my inspirations for creating these series was this YouTuber. His name is McJuggernuggets, Jesse Ridgway. Most well known for making the Psycho series, Devil Inside, My Virtual Escape, etc., etc. Made a lot of great series, and I occasionally still go back and watch it because it's some of the best shit I've ever watched on YouTube. But that's what gave me the motivation to, you know, keep on going with things, even if it seems dark, because there's a lot of fans that didn't like what McJuggernuggets was doing, and he just kept going because he had a good feeling, and he was optimistic, like I always should be. All right, folks, next week we're going to talk about the mirror dimension that's brought up in 2017, put in a factor in 2018 and 2019, and then finally what led to the finale in 2020. So next week I'll talk about the mirror dimension and how that worked out. Until then, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week on Behind the Fate.